Hi, I'm Hina Ijaz. Welcome to Pakistan. We have a special guest visiting Pakistan for the very first time. What brings him to Pakistan? It's a very, very interesting story. The guest is he's a professor at the University College, Dublin. He had a PhD student, and because of a very good relationship, a positive relationship, he decided to fly down to Pakistan to attend his wedding. How exciting is that? I would like to find out more from Eugene O'Brien, who is from Ireland, is our guest, not just on the show, but a guest in Pakistan at a Pakistani wedding. I'm sure there's lots in store for him to find out more about Pakistani culture. But of course, as usual, we would also find out more from the place he comes from, the land he comes from. And on the other side, I have Abdul Azeem. He is a travel enthusiast. He's been a Chinese interpreter to the government of Punjab. He's done that previously, but is also teaching more than 7,000 students the language Mandarin, free of cost. That is the best part. We'd like to find out more about what he does, about his exciting travels across Pakistan and much more. I welcome you both to the show. Eugene, thank you and welcome to Pakistan.
Thank you, it's lovely to be here.
Abdul Azeem sir, thank you so much for joining in. I wish I could converse with you in Mandarin, but that is not possible. I'm sure we'd learn a few words today. Well, Eugene, you are a professor, how wonderful, at the University College Dublin. And you had a PhD student and you decided to attend his wedding in Pakistan. You flew to a country which you were totally alien to in terms of never visiting it before. You've just come in yesterday. How do you feel?
Well, let me say first, I didn't just decide, I was invited.
Of course, after the invitation, you decided.
So I was honored when I was invited
Right.
to come to his wedding, and he's my good student. He's been graduated now a year or two. He's working for Intel, the chip manufacturer in Ireland, and we became good friends while we worked together. I mean, a PhD is very much a one-to-one teaching, so you talk all the time with each other, one-to-one, and we got to know each other quite well. So.
Right, so you've been here since yesterday. I'm sure you're well rested now, for now at least, and you did get an opportunity to go out. What all did you see?
I've been visiting some of the natural sites. So I was down yesterday. I arrived around lunchtime, and I was down in Lawrence Park.
That's a lovely park, one of the landmarks of Lahore.
Yes, a lovely park and a good amenity and lots of families around enjoying the day. But I was looking at the wildlife, and there's also quite some nice wildlife there. So there were fruit bats hanging from the trees, and there were little sunbirds feeding in the flowers. Lots of nice things to see.
So you seem to enjoy a lot of nature.
Yes, yes.
Well, Ireland itself is a beautiful place. So would you recommend Pakistanis to visit Ireland?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. A little bit expensive now. I mean, yeah, a lot more expensive than here.
Of course.
But yeah, we have lots of history. Much of it, we were a British colony.
Very historic.
Yeah.
I mean, history is a very important part of Ireland. So
Yeah.
yes.
So lots of history, yeah, some castles. I think we have more castles than any place else in the world.
Absolutely.
And more golf courses.
Absolutely. So are you a golf player?
No, I tried golf, but I'm not much good
No,
at
you
it.
didn't enjoy that much, right? Well, I'm going to show you a report that we've prepared on Ireland. If you ever wish to visit the place, this gorgeous, gorgeous place, we have some questions from Eugene. He shall be answering those because I'm sure as a traveler, one does come up with a list of questions. I'll be taking them to Professor here and he shall be answering those questions right after we see this report. Right, so we saw some gorgeous images of Ireland. Tell us 5 things to do in Ireland upon arrival.
What most people, the most popular site are the cliffs of Moher on the west coast, facing the Atlantic. So the water is coming all the way from New York, and they're very high. They're the highest cliffs in Europe, and that's the most popular site. Lots of visits, and you can walk. It's actually quite dangerous, really, because you can walk very close to the cliff edge, and there's nothing protecting you from the sea. So you just have to be sensible about it. But that's very popular. Dromoland Castle in County Clare in the west is quite beautiful, and they've rebuilt an old historic village there as well. So I come from a humble background, and my parents would have been born in small cottages, so I enjoyed that part of it as well.
Right, so Ireland is obviously popular for its marvelous views and castles, and they say the people are very friendly there. Is that true?
Yes, although I have to say the Pakistani people are friendly as well.
Of course.
But the Irish people are kind of curious about travellers, so they will approach them and ask them questions and say where you're from. And well, in Ireland we're always trying to connect people to people. So you say, well, do you know this guy? He used to be in Lahore as well. I mean, I know it's a crazy question, but we like to do that kind of thing. We like to try to trace people's roots and where they're from.
Right. So there's a lot of culture and tradition that you also see in the Irish blood. The people like to follow some of these old traditions. So if you were to educate our audience about Ireland, about the Irish, what would be two or three traits from the Irish culture that you'd like to tell us about? It could be food, it could be habits.
We're informal. We're pretty relaxed. We like to chill.
So, coming back to the fact that you've just arrived yesterday, what all have you done in these past 24 hours over here?
I went to the park yesterday.
Yes, park was one. Yes.
I ate out in a beautiful restaurant last night.
Right.
We had a 360-degree view of the city, of Lahore. And then I got to sleep because it was a very long flight before that. And today I visited a farm. It's about an hour outside the city. And again, I saw some nature, but also some villagers and some people working the water chestnuts.
We'll also talk to Abdul Azeem Saab about his adventures, his travels, his wonderful journeys all across Pakistan. So we could also tell Eugene here how beautiful Pakistan is. But right after a short break. Well, Dublin, of course, if you go to Ireland, if you don't visit Dublin, it's going to be unfair. An interesting fact about Dublin is that more than 50% or roughly 50% of the population of Dublin is under the age of 25. Eugene, is that true?
That is probably true. I mean, we have a lot of the big multinationals, like my daughter works for Facebook.
Wow,
and
how wonderful.
It's wonderful for her, yes, it's a good employer.
Yeah.
And there's Google and there's all of those companies. They brought a lot of young people from around Europe. Yes.
So it's estimated that 50% of Dublin's population is under the age of 25. So that makes it a very, very young city.
Yes, I guess. I mean, there are also a few universities, and that brings in a lot of young people from the countryside as well.
How would you describe the Irish? As very lively people, fun-loving people?
Fun-loving people, I would say yes. Yes, I think I'm not typical. But yeah, I think the people do like to get out and party and interact with each other.
So, of course, Dublin is located alongside the Irish Sea. So you have nice views?
We don't see the sea that much around Dublin. You know, it is a seaside city.
Right, and how's that?
Well, if you go down towards the sea, you hit the docks and the port, and you know that's not very pleasant. There are a few beaches. Yeah, you can find a beach.
You can't. Right. So coming towards Abdul Azeem Sahab. Abdul Azeem Sahab speaks fluent Mandarin. He's been an interpreter for the government of Punjab, and he teaches around more than 7,000 students free of cost the language Mandarin on YouTube. So if you're interested, do sign up on his page on YouTube. So how do you say hello in Mandarin?
Well, it's a good start to being a teacher. You love to teach everywhere. Like you can say ni hao.
But what do you say hello? How do you say hello?
Ni hao.
Li hao.
Ni
Ni
hao.
Ni hao. I'm
Ni
not
hao.
pronouncing it
And
correctly.
it's very easy to reply. The same you can say, like I'm asking you ni hao, and you can reply me ni hao. That's all.
Ni
Hello,
hao
hi,
and ni
same.
hao.
Ni hao.
Right.
Hao means good. Ni means you. You good. You good. That's all.
How is it working with the government of Punjab, with the government of Punjab as the interpreter? And I'm sure with CPEC, it was obviously underway then. A lot was happening. So many Chinese delegations were coming to Pakistan. How was that experience for you?
Well, first let me make it clear a bit. Government of Punjab don't have specific interpreters in their pockets. What they do is, as per the requirement,
Right.
they ask different departments to arrange the interpreters. And because I was from business community, and I had some business knowledge, and I had some education as well, I can speak English as well. So they ask to find a person who has the business skills and who can speak Chinese and who can speak English as well.
Right.
So what they do is, as per their requirement, they ask like Lahore Chamber of Commerce, and
then the chamber would recommend.
and the chamber recommends that we have this person who can do this kind of a job.
But how was that experience?
That was
with them
actually
all?
marvelous because there were so many things which I personally noticed. Before that, I was unaware of that. If you are in China and you are giving time like 9 a.m. to someone, that means 9 a.m. he will be
It's 9
sitting.
a.m.
Yeah.
It means 9 a.m.,
It
not
means
p.m.
9 a.m. And even like us, when we go there at 9 a.m., we receive the call, yes, I am waiting for you. Then say, okay, just give me 5 minutes. That means we just wake up at 9 a.m.
Yes.
So it's like that. There is a big culture.
The work ethic is great in China, in short, and they're hard workers, they're efficient, they work very, very hard. Well, we do have, I would not like to undermine Pakistanis here because
No.
I'm very proud to be Pakistani, and Pakistanis are definitely hard workers. However, it depends from area to area, place to place as well, because there are different cultures everywhere. If you talk about the city Lahore, for example, people really like to live their lives to the fullest here also because of the cultural background. A lot of people have land holdings here, so they have a lifestyle which allows them to take it easy. Whereas if you go to the city of Karachi, which is a metropolitan city, you see the entire corporate world there. It's like New York, right? So there's everybody's busy, everybody's minding their own business, and they're working from 9 to 5 or maybe 9 to 9. Whereas Lahore, when you talk about Lahore, obviously because of being influenced by the agriculture background, and the adjoining areas are all agricultural land, so the lifestyle is such. Coming back to Eugene, you did try some Pakistani food, or obviously you've eaten since yesterday.
Yes. I find the food quite hot.
It was, right?
Yeah,
Spicy?
Spicy, yes. So I have very traditional upbringing. My mother always fed me some very simple food, and I find this food very spicy.
This was a little too spicy, or in fact very spicy.
Well, a little too spicy.
What did you eat?
Ooh, I'm not sure. Yeah.
It was something spicy. Was it a meat-based thing?
I had a halawa. Is that a dessert?
Halwa.
Halwa.
It's a dessert.
Yes, that was good. I
That's
enjoyed it,
really
yes,
yum.
Yes.
It's actually nice in this weather as well.
Yeah.
So, what did you just mentioned that you grew up eating simple food. So what you're referring to as simple?
We would have meat and potatoes and cabbage. We had a lot of
And
cabbage.
was there a lot of cheese involved in there?
No cheese, no, just processed cheese. We had very simple, yeah. I was born in the countryside, so.
Oh yes, so you just mentioned you're a farmer's son, is
Yes,
that right?
so nothing
So you worked in the fields, right?
Yeah, and we grew our own vegetables. So.
How lovely. And do you still grow them? I don't think so.
We didn't think it was lovely at the time.
It's
no,
a novelty nowadays. It's
yes,
a novelty.
my daughters are growing their own vegetables now.
See, how nice.
Yes.
So this generation of yours skipped that trend.
Yes.
And your daughters are doing. I think there's more awareness now towards, rather diverting to organic food. People are moving towards that more.
Yeah, it's
These
a bit of
whole
fun.
food markets, they're trying to encourage this trend, and it's working out, I believe.
Yeah, it's good wholesome food. You know that there's no artificial
Yes.
anything on it.
Yes, so you definitely missed the bus.
Yes, well, yeah, I'm lazy, I guess.
No, not lazy. Well, you were privileged as a child to have organic food, so you were like, okay, fine. I've grown up now. I ain't a part of that system anymore, but your children decided to follow that path, which is lovely.
Yes, they're back.
Excellent, excellent. So you have 2 daughters?
I have 3 daughters.
3?
Yes.
And one works for Facebook. What do the other 2 do?
One is a civil engineer,
Wow.
and one is.
And you're a professor of civil engineering.
Yes, she came.
Was
to,
it pressure that she became a civil engineer?
I don't think so, but she came to my classes, which must have been very embarrassing for her.
Or impressed by her father?
I think it was
being
hard,
a good
hard
professor.
for her. But my youngest daughter then is a PhD in microbiology.
Wow. You have some very smart kids. Must say that.
some good
Congratulations.
Thank
Lucky
you.
man.
Thank you.
So, Abdul Azeem Saham, if we were to recommend Eugene here what to eat, he finds our food spicy, what would you recommend?
Well, we are lucky enough to have almost every kind of food here in Lahore.
Yes, that's right.
So I will recommend to go to the Gawal Mandi area. The Gawal Mandi is the place in the almost.
That's the
center
food
area.
hub of Lahore.
That's a food hub, and
You
can
find everything there.
everything from fish, from
But
pulses.
that would be also slightly spicy, right, Abdul Azeem Saham?
Yep, it is.
I would say he should have dal, he should have some pulses. Yeah, that's,
Actually-
actually, that's yum, rice and pulses, that's our staple.
Pulse?
Pulses.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so if you were to order it without any spice added to it, it's the most yummiest thing in Pakistan, yes. I would call it a delicacy. Many people treat it as a very ordinary thing, but I think it could be on international menus and it would be a hot seller. So yes, that's one thing, but normally it's recommended that if you are traveling from elsewhere, from a different region and coming here or going to any other part of the world where the food palette is completely different, it's best to refrain from new food and spicy food and dairy products. So cheese, yes, of course, you're going to stay away from, and milk-based items and spicy things. So what to do in Lahore? You've been to Lawrence Park, but it would be unfair if you did not visit the Fourth Street, where the Badshahi Mosque is, where the fort is. If you could
Exactly.
tell him about that, please.
Yeah, it's a very nice place, and many foreign friends they really like to go there because it's the atmosphere. It gives you a feel of true Lahore. You can find several types of foods there, the spices, and just like Ms. Hina was saying, you can find the pulses as well as the chicken, fish, everything you can find there, and you must go there.
So,
the place is very beautiful.
You've heard of the Mughal Empire, right? The Mughal
Mughal,
Empire.
yes.
So the fort that they built, Lahore was their, let's say, where they were operating from. So they built a fort there. That fort is roughly 20 to 25 minutes from where we are currently. So it's not a bad idea at all that now that you've made this effort to come to Pakistan, so that's what I'm saying, it'll be unfair if you do not visit that place. So you have to visit the fort, and right in front of that they have this huge boulevard. It's a pedestrian walk. They have these old prehistoric buildings there, and which they have renovated, restored, and they've made restaurants of all food types, Pakistani food. and it's going to be a lovely, lovely experience. And then there you'll see the Badshahi Mosque, if you've heard of that. So that's a place that's a place that you cannot miss while being here.
Very good. And can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
I was at Alexander the Great's father's tomb in Greece, which is
Right.
really beautiful.
Right.
But Alexander the Great came all the way to
Yes,
Pakistan, didn't
that's
he?
right. That's on, let's say, a little on the northern side. So some of the soldiers who stayed back here, they got married to the people of this land. And some of the people that you see here now with that particular eye color, they are the descendants of that
Very good.
intercultural or cross marriages. So I'd like to show you those pictures of people in that particular area. Very interesting looks.
Very good.
So I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, there's so much more to talk about. The conversation is getting more and more interesting, and trust me, I'm having more fun. See you after a short break. Well, Eugene, one thing the Irish are famous for is the sense of humor as well.
Yes, I guess so.
And is there an element of sarcasm in it?
Yes, we do a lot of what we call slagging. It's kind of mild insults that we throw at each other all the time.
Oh, I tell you, it's so much fun. I need to learn more. So nobody takes offense to it.
Well, it's a little edgy sometimes, so there's a risk.
Does it
there's
erupt to like some fights and all?
there's a risk you might offend somebody, but it's worth
It may
it.
be risky, right?
But it's good fun.
So try it at your own risk.
Uh,
So if you could throw a pun at me, like, come on.
I wouldn't know where to start. You need to know somebody, you know? And it's not like telling a joke. It's more like a part of conversation, you know?
It's a lifestyle thing.
Yes. I mean, somebody is talking about something, you just get a jab in there somewhere.
What fun. I love that. That's so much fun.
It's a little bit cruel sometimes. Maybe.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, there's a
Well,
risk you might go too far sometimes.
Lahore is famous for one thing. Guess what?
Cricket.
Food. Pakistan is famous for cricket. I'm from Karachi. I live in Lahore. So I'd say Lahore is famous for food. Karachi is famous for the seashore. And being a metropolitan city, Lahore is famous for culture, food. These are two things. So do you have any other plans of going anywhere up north or visiting other cities? I believe you're going to Multan for the wedding, right?
Yes, on Friday I'm going to Multan, but tomorrow we're going to Islamabad for 2 nights.
Oh, lovely. What's happening there?
Well, we're going to visit the salt mines. It comes strongly recommended. The salt mines to see the Himalayan salt, which I didn't know about before, but I believe it's very beautiful.
Right.
And we'll make our way to Islamabad, and we'll probably take an alternative route down, where we spend a day going around the city as well.
How lovely.
To be honest, the guy I'm with, Miguel, he's done all the research, so I'm just going to take his recommendations.
Oh, wow. So this is your student?
No, this is a friend, so another friend is coming to the wedding.
Oh, wow. How lovely. How lovely. So you do have people guiding you here well about what to do, what not to do, where to go.
My host has been very gracious and very helpful, yes.
How nice. How nice. So you will be back from Islamabad, you'll be going to Multan, and then you're heading out immediately back.
No, we're going to spend another 2 nights here.
In Lahore?
Yeah, so we will
That'll
have
be
a
nice.
chance.
I think that'll be the time when you'll actually get to explore the city.
Yeah.
So what was the impression or perception set in your mind before your arrival in Lahore or Pakistan, let's put it that way? What were you told, or what were your own thoughts and opinion?
A lot of people are a little nervous and everyone looks different, and yeah, I guess you're a little bit apprehensive.
You were?
My wife was.
That's sweet. It's okay.
No,
It's
people
normal.
People are people, and you just need to realize that if somebody's looking across, it's probably just because they're thinking about something, and
Right.
they're not actually angry or anything. And the people are dressed differently. It's just because that's the traditional dress.
And when you landed here, upon landing, what was your opinion then? I'm sure there must have been some changes in your viewpoint.
The traffic is chaotic.
That's the fun part.
Well, yesterday I was stuck in a traffic jam, and
Yes.
it's much more entertaining than an Irish traffic jam, I have to
Really?
say. Yes. So much more going on. You know, you can look at the people passing by, and the ladies sitting sideways on the motorbikes. This is amazing. I mean, how can they stay balanced on the back of the motorbikes?
That's an art. That's where, we take the lead. So it's fun. These sights, these sounds, these new interesting things, it's fun. It's fun. So how many Pakistani students have you had so far? I mean, how many have you taught so far?
One.
Just one?
Yes. Yes. Just
No
one.
way.
Just one.
Wow.
I mean, maybe some of the undergraduates, I'm not sure where they're all from, but I don't think we have many.
You don't.
And this was my first PhD student that was Pakistani. But I've an application in for a second, and he's very good, and my fingers are crossed. I'm hoping he'll be accepted.
Lovely, lovely. So, wow. And where are most of your students from at the university?
Recently, there are quite a few Chinese. We have an operation in China. University College Dublin has a program in China, in Xi'an. So we have 120 students a year there, graduating with our degree. So we have more and more students coming through that system.
Okay, it's going to be a very vague question, but which nationality, students from which nationality do you think are the smartest?
There are very smart people in every nation.
No, you don't have to be diplomatic. Come on,
I'm
there
not-
has to be some genetics and some background to that.
Maybe, but I'm not being smart, or I'm not being politically correct. There are some very smart people in every group.
So
You just
your
have to find
smartest students, let's put it this way. Let me come from the other side and ask you that. So your smartest students have been from which countries, on a serious note?
Perhaps one of my best students ever was Chinese. It was amazing. You'd give him a week's work, and he would come back the next day. He had it all done.
There you go.
That's
They're
what I was saying.
efficient. They're efficient.
I would have to say that Arslan, whose wedding I'm going to, is one of my best students.
No
ever.
wonder you're here and you have a good relationship with him. You're friends with him.
Yes,
So
but
lovely, lovely. Sorry, what's his name?
Arslan Khan.
Okay, lovely, lovely. So what did he tell you about Pakistan? I'm sure he gave you a brief.
Yes, he told me a lot about cricket, which I
Oh yes, we are cricket fans, like totally.
didn't understand.
Stay here for a few days, you will. Right, so what else did he tell you?
There's a lot of good traditions with family, very strong family connections, that kind of thing. Told us about the salt mines,
So you're going there.
so we were definitely
That'll be
going
a
there.
fun experience, I must tell you.
Yeah.
And the road to the salt mines, it's nice, it's smooth, the infrastructure is good, so you'll have a comfortable journey.
Well, as an engineer, I appreciate that, yes.
Yes, of course, how could I forget that? Well, we're going to take a look at two images. One image is going to be from Pakistan, one image is going to be of Ireland, of course. But it's a very tricky thing to do, how we select those images. So right, we saw these gorgeous, gorgeous images of two countries and your beautiful, beautiful island. So for the days that you're here, I'm sure you will have a difference, you'll have a change of opinion about Pakistan. So I would be very, very keen to find out later. I hope you can make it back to the show and tell us how your opinions have changed. So Abdul Azeem Sahab, let's say if Eugene was to come back to Pakistan, this time his trip is Islamabad, Multan, he's going to visit the salt mines. When he's back, he's going to see more of Lahore. What else should he see in Pakistan if he ever decides to come back to Pakistan?
Well, it depends upon what kind of place he wants to see. But I personally suggest
I
that
think he's a nature lover, from whatever I've understood. Right, Eugene?
Yes.
Right. So
the northern side of Pakistan, it is full of beautiful mountains and the nature at its best there. What I personally think that when next time you come here, you should have at least 15 to 20 days with you to go from one side, from the north side. You know, the place after Islamabad, everywhere you can find the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. When you go that province, you will find many beautiful places, and it requires some time. You know, it's not very easy. Like it cannot be one-day trip. Of course, we would always suggest him.
Hunza is one place where he should be going.
He should go there. You know, you cannot mark names. Now every place, now the current government, they are making some arrangements for the foreigners. When they come here, they can go the northern side. They are making it more beautiful, more clean, more safe for their traveling.
And the infrastructure is better there. The 5 stars, which you may find, the accommodation in any range is available now, because the number of tourists definitely during COVID times has increased in these areas. Not just international tourists, in fact domestic tourists from the southern part of the country are traveling all the way up to the north, because it remained, let's say, rather or relatively an unexplored area.
We're doing a lot of staycations in Ireland as well. So
Oh, really?
a lot of
Tell
people-
us about it.
Well, during COVID, a lot of people were going to the west or going to the south,
Right.
and it's because we didn't want to travel.
Yes. So much has, the pandemic has changed the world and the way tourism operates also. It's no longer the traditional travel system anymore. You also try and explore places nearby.
Yes, but now that we're vaccinated, I'm really keen to get back out there.
Well, you've traveled half the way from across the world and you've come to a wedding. That tells us a lot. So when you arrived at the airport, always the entire processes at the airport, would you tell us about it? Was it smooth and easy?
There was some confusion about the visa. I mean, it's what I presented, what I was sent by email was not what they were expecting, so I had to go into a back office somewhere. But he
Were they helpful? Were they kind?
Yeah, he was friendly and helpful, and he sorted it out. It took about 5
No,
minutes.
lovely.
Yeah.
That's nice. So, Abdul Azeem Sahab, again, we were talking about what places Eugene can look at tentatively. So, one would be Hunza. What else? Multan he's going to. He shall, in fact, the beautiful palaces in Multan also.
There is, but keep an eye on the temperature when, I mean, which season you come here, it also matters.
Right now, it's fine.
Like right now, it's okay.
But in hot weather, it can be very uncomfortable, in extreme hot weather.
Well, I thought today was really warm.
Compared to where you come from, yes.
If we had that in an Irish summer's day, we would be delighted. I mean, it
Wow.
was beautiful. It was perfect. It was mid-20s.
It's lovely, right?
It was perfect.
Well, it is going to get colder. It is. This cold wave is going to come in. But of course, not as much as Ireland. I think Lahore has one of the best weathers in winter time, if you compare it across the globe.
And this is the right time to come to Lahore. Even though you want to come to Pakistan, this is the right time and right place to visit.
Yes.
Because the temperature is good enough, not very cold, not very hot, and every kind of food is available in this season especially.
He's not too keen on the food, from what I've gathered. Right. So, Eugene, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best and enjoy the big fat Pakistani wedding and have the time of your life.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Abdul Azeem Sahab.
Honored.
Thank you so much. I shall look forward to joining your page and
Sure,
subscribing to it
welcome.
so I can learn some Mandarin, because ni and ha, I don't get it right now. So thank you so much. I'll see you next week, same time. You keep watching Discover Pakistan.